I don't know if any of you know, I mean, of course, it's Lababduchen on Saturday. I think that Tupta Nobeling are celebrating on Friday. And Shani Davis Center asked me to lead some prayers for them. So if you guys want to hop over, if you haven't had enough prayers, you can come over and do some with us over there in New York. And for those people on the East Coast, that might be a happy thing for you guys. So that's on Saturday. I think it starts at something like 7:30 p.m. their time, already on it. And then also we're doing that because my friend Senla, Venerable Senla, who helped she basically built the nunnery at the age of 18. She raised the money for the nunnery. So she's very close to Lamso Primshe. And I think it might have been her that ended up getting the advice from His Holiness that to recite the names of Manjushri. So so this is the recommendation from His Holiness. And you know how we were doing what are those prayers in accordance with the times, all the Sangha through the IMI on the Saturday mornings. So I'm leading one on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. 7 or 7:30 our time. But anyway, if you're interested, I'll let you guys know tomorrow evening. I'll bring along the link, and if you want to come and recite some praises to Manjushri for the swift return of Lamso Primshe, if that's the kind of thing that interests you, very welcome. Yeah. Anyway, let's get started. What's happening? Oh, you just put the link, Shayla, up? Yeah, okay. So I hope everyone's doing well and that you've had a really good week. It's definitely been a time of change of season this week. It's just getting dark and cold, and except today we had a morning of 49 degrees and it got up to about above 80 in the day. So I know it was very pleasant. It was very pleasant in the day, but it's super dark in the morning, sort of lost my precious time where I sit out there and do my prayers and look at the birds. So anyway, it'll all change again as things do. So let's just settle into our meditation. So just a sort of a comfortable sitting posture. Feet flat on the floor. Try and ground yourself through the soles of your feet. Whatever busyness has been going on today, whatever busyness you've got after this session or tomorrow morning, just try and carve out this. It's a very precious 30 minutes just for you. Sorry, I put a loose cord here. One second. And if you are sitting at your computer with your knees apart, and have the knees about a hip's width apart, you can be sitting right on top of your sits bones, shoulders are aligned with the hips, and just really try and lengthen the spine. And think about your breath. I had a brief discussion about it yesterday. I don't know if you guys all remember, we have a Vajrasattva participant. He's over, I think he's Belgium, Kenny. So Kenny writes to me occasionally. He watches the practice on online on YouTube after the fact because of the time difference. But he was quite fascinated. So he sent me quite a few things about breath. And then later on in this book, they discuss how, of course, tumo is used to heat the body. The other side effect of tumo, they did some experiments in the lab. And tumo's generated through breath. The experiments that they did, some scientists did in the lab on people practicing tumo, and it wasn't necessarily to do with the monks, doing prayers and everything. Normal people who weren't necessarily practicing Buddhism were able to do it as well. It actually protected them from disease. So what they did was they injected people with some E. coli bacteria, and those people that were practicing Tummo didn't get sick. So, this is just an extreme example of how the breath, correct breathing, or certain breathing techniques can protect you and keep you healthy. And as I mentioned before, the breath interval that we are forced into when we recite mantra is extremely calming. And I also, further on in the book today, discovered there was a connection between the way we breathe and bone density. So focusing on the breath, breathing correctly, thinking about breathing correctly is can be extremely healing. And one of the things that they suggest is you get some mouth tape, and which you can buy online, and tape your mouth so you're just breathing through the nose at night. Helps with the snoring. So anyway, I have digressed. It's my latest fascination. Anyway, if you are breathing, notice the breath, the inhalation and the exhalation. And maybe as you're breathing, notice the areas where you might be tight in your chest, in your neck, throat. And just try and relax everything from the head all the way down to the toes. Be aware of any sounds in your environment, so just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to follow them with the mind. And then notice the thoughts that might be arising in the mind. The people that you've had communication with today, those communications might still be floating around in your mind. And remembering also, however it is you're turning up today, it's totally fine. It's perfect. Just remember the fact that you're here. I mean, that's just good enough, really. You made it. So anything from this point onwards is a bonus. And just put ourselves on the bank of our river and just watch that river flow on by. And check the quality of the water. Is it clear? Is there debris in it? How's it appearing to you? And then just know in your heart, while you're sitting on the bank, you're free on that river. Now the people of our life. And we have our loved ones, the ones that we hold very dear to our heart, and then we have those that we have some aversion for. This equanimity business is really quite tricky. And then there's our strangers, and they all change place. Can change place at any time. And they're all equal, and they wish to be happy, they wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for the benefit of all these people of our life. For any individuals or groups of people that you are particularly thinking about right now. And you just because people are kind of coming and going in terms of the focus of the media doesn't mean to say they're not still suffering, So perhaps occasionally bring to mind the people of Lahaina who are still kind of struggling. Everybody's moving forward, but it's a new life for them. New struggles, grief, grieving, loss of community. So it's still quite big, but it's not in the news anymore, so we could probably forget about it. But it's good to remember them every now and then, different groups of people that we've heard about over the last year. And of course for ourselves as we move along our spiritual path. So remembering with this practice, there is no negativity that we cannot purify. So this purification process it's basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can easily change that by creating positivity instead. It really is, I know it just sounds so difficult, but it really is that easy. Half the problem is we don't think that we have any control. We are the boss. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know we don't want any more. Logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing Buddha to forgive us. We're not looking for a higher power to sort of forgive us, take our pain away. We want to use our methods that so that we can, remove the pain ourselves, so we can heal ourselves, so we can do our own work. And also in that way, we feel a little bit more in control. As I've said before, as Lama Yeshe used to say, you do have the power. Problem is, we think we don't. So we have to just kind of reorganize that view in our mind. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and he's also, you can imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. He's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. Has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, infinite wisdom, infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood, so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, and the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by wishing for them to be free from suffering. So think of someone you've harmed recently, maybe in the past, and maybe think of those people who've harmed you. You just have a wish for them to be free from suffering, particularly the ones that have done the harm, because they will suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So now we come to the power of the remedy and start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, for Showerhead, Niagara Falls, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of your speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and inappropriate speech and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Te. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech, including yourself and including what you write, what you type, what you put on social media, comments. Next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately now sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So as you walk into a room and switch on a light, it instantly dispels darkness. You imagine the same thing happens when the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart. All the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and bitterness and grudges and jealousies, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sudukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sudukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Te. So again, be delighted that all your delusions And these are the source of our suffering. These are the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech. Just imagine they're completely gone, they're purified, and there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom, bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of body, speech, and mind. And imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam karuhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a crucial one. And this is this determination to not harm with your body and your speech and your mind. And without making a decision, a determination, without having a wish for this, nothing's going to happen. So we have to decide. And once we've made that decision, it becomes like a beacon that guides your body and your speech and your mind in different directions, new directions, more positive direction. So think of something you've been working on. Congratulate yourself. Rejoice in your efforts. Maybe pick something new to try and work with, or not. And imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light, and absorbs into you through your crown. And you can think my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Lamsa Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness, this idea of emptiness. And emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. You think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then we can think for the life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama to be long and healthy and happy. Then the swift return of Lamas of Rinpoche's reincarnation. And then, of course, your own teachers, whoever they are, strong wish for them to live long. And then maybe some of your teachers aren't here anymore. So a strong wish for them, wherever they are, maybe to return. And a strong wish for you to meet them again. Okay, everybody, good night. One question: what would you like to do tomorrow morning?